All right, you know what? I was like polishing these things up because the fingerprints on them are pretty crazy. I feel like basically like having kind of a shiny plastic on these, it attracts so much dust and fingerprints and like food grease, especially on the trackpad, that I wanted to have like a nice clean presentation to show and all that, but I'm like, that's actually maybe one thing we'll get started with. I was gonna start with like kind of basically 15 things split between like five different things each. Like five things I like, five things that I think could be better, and five things that I hope for. But let's like just start with this. Like I didn't even put this on my list, but I do wish these were matte, like a matte plastic. That's a big thing that I kind of like want and wish for. Um, I don't know, maybe I could get some sandpaper, sand it down a little bit, but I don't also want to ruin my $800 glasses. But, you know, I do think they're pretty sick. Like, there's a way you kind of got to wear them. Like, a lot of people, they just get up really close and they're like, oh, like, these look goofy on me. But I've seen cool people wearing thicker rim glasses, you know. That's like a whole fashion thing. It's about how you put it together, how you like style yourself and how you style it and how you feel confident, right? But, you know, we're going to start with this. I will say, if you're not a person that like likes experimental technology, or if you're a person that doesn't like not getting everything you kind of expect when you get a product, then I definitely don't recommend that you get these. Like, that's just not the way that you should approach technology. That's not the way you should approach like emerging products. This is definitely kind of like the first layer in a mainstream version of a display glass, because these are not augmented reality glasses in the sense that you would expect for maybe something like the Vision Pro or even the Meta Quest. These do not augment your environment. They don't change anything in your environment. They simply display things on, basically give you like a heads up display. So I feel like that's kind of a good way to start. Is the thing that I loved about the idea of a heads up display was having, you know, the ability to see maps, especially in a city when you don't want to pull out your phone. You don't want to like be looking lost too much. I rather look like I'm ignoring people with like looking kind of to the side or like to the bottom than looking like this up in the air with like the phone and trying to like see where everything is. So that's like my first thing. It's like super useful. The maps is super useful, right? So the second thing I really like is like these are definitely like upgraded from my Meta Ray-Bans like headliners. Having the ability to be able to see things just changes the game for me. Being able to see text messages instead of having to constantly like listening to them is great. Being able to see the maps, of course. Being able to see my framing for my photos and videos, it really changes the game for me. And I do love and I want to get the new Oakley Vanguards. I think they're sick with like the middle camera, but I honestly would only really use those when I'm biking and not like casual wear, especially indoors. So for me, this is like the good compromise between that. The third thing is like, this is kind of unexpected, but I do AI professionally, and I like to be able to take a photo of something and then generate images from that type of thing, whether that be through ChatGPT or Gemini or Midjourney. And lo and behold, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Midjourney and Meta announced a collaboration in a way to put like a better version, like a nicer version of image generation within Meta AI. And it looks just like the Midjourney experience you get. Maybe a little bit lower quality, but in terms of the context and like the aesthetics and the taste, it's all there. And that to me was the big surprise when I was able to generate images with these glasses. So I could be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say it to activate the thing, but you say, hey, and then Meta, and it would actually, you could be like, hey, generate me an image of this thing, or like, I'm looking at this, I want to change the living room to a different dining set or something like that. And it actually works sometimes. And we'll get to that in like my top 5, what I don't like. But that's kind of like number 3, like the ability to generate images in like an unexpected cool way. Then in premium feel, like, yeah, they are bigger, right? But to me, that gives it one of the things like we've talked about, especially as a designer. We've had like this discussion with other designers. Like the way that things feel premium is their weight and their thickness. And you know, a lot of people might disagree, but generally, if you go into like a luxury store or something, you're gonna feel like something is super hefty, and the price is gonna feel like the weight. The weight is gonna feel like the price, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I do like this, but there's another negative about that. But we'll get into that later when I get into some other stuff. And then finally, like the neural band, you can see I have it hidden right here. The neural band is super futuristic, and it's honestly one of probably the coolest thing about the glasses other than the display. Being able to like tap your fingers to navigate without having to reach up here, especially when you have these on a bike helmet or something or on a cap, or you just don't want to like be reaching up. Maybe your hands are occupied elsewhere. It's like a really, really convenient way to operate the glasses. And people have tons of videos on what they do and all that, and I don't want to get into the details. I just want to like recommend basically a product for people who might want them and people who might want to wait for the next generation. So with that said, of course, we have to get into the 5 things that I really don't like, right? So the AI, I'm so sorry, Meta, but it's just not there. Like, it's just not that advanced in terms of the things that I needed to do in terms of like a recalling memory way. Maybe it's just not set up for these yet, but these don't feel like they're a flagship AI model for like a flagship AI product. Sometimes even when I'm generating images, like, right, I have to find 5 to 10 different ways to get it to do something. And then even then, if I ask it basically the flow, take a picture of this chair and then generate an image from that. Sometimes it'll take the picture and then say, it just won't do exactly what it looks like. It won't give me the exact thing it looks like. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then, I don't know, it's just like, maybe it's just the way that I don't know if it's using like Llama or whatever, but maybe it's just the way that it's set up. And it's not like in that contextual flow where it can like just know, hey, we're talking about a list of things here. Keep referring to that list, even when it comes to like a generate image or analyze or something like that. Like that's just one thing that's kind of bothering me. Well, 1 out of 5 things. And then they do, because they're nice and weighty, they do slide down my nose, and they actually might have slid down my nose the whole time that I was like doing this thing. But I usually try to keep them, I do like to keep them like middle of my nose because it just feels and looks a little more natural, right? But I don't know, I was asking my wife basically like, what does she do for her glasses? And she was mentioning that people like she was mentioning that people can kind of like basically get like basically heated up, and it'll put the handles in more. And which is nice about these, they actually do flex out. So I don't know if you can see that. They flex out, which is great because you don't want to have glasses that are too tight, right? So that's just one thing that I love. And another thing I do love that I can basically still take pictures like that. And I was trying to clear the display. Anyway, I'm just gonna bring this back up again so we can wrap this. One thing that does happen are ghost gestures. And I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, battery's 15%, so 6%. I did have these in the case today, so I don't know why they're not charged, but that's one thing. The battery life is pretty, you know what I mean? It could be much better. It could be like, I don't know, flagship product is bigger. I feel like there's some improvements that could be made. One thing that did happen to me, I was biking with the maps and I was taking pics at the same time because I wanted to see how long it could last. And I was starting from maybe like 85% battery, and it completely died within probably 20 minutes. And that to me kind of made me realize, okay, maybe next time I'll try just all maps. Like I won't do 2 things at once. But that was a little bit disappointing, but it is a first gen product and I'm not expecting the world from this thing. Anyway, what's crazy is that wasn't even on my list, like that I actually had written out. I guess one thing that might be related to that is the band randomly disconnects, and maybe it's in sleep mode, but there'll be times when I'm trying to like turn it on, and after just using it maybe 20 minutes ago, and then it doesn't connect, or it doesn't turn the display on, so I'll have to like use finger gestures and with the side, basically the side arm finger gestures, and that's the only way I can kind of get it to work. But maybe those are things that I can improve. And I was talking to one of the developers at Meta, because when I was biking, actually, there were like ghost movements that were happening, or it wasn't registering when my hand, instead of being like vertical like this, like how the demo is supposed to be. Shout out to Sunglass Hut for not doing the demos and making me pick up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Speaking of ghosts, and speaking of 4 o'clock in the morning, it was dead morning time when I had to go pick these glasses up because Sunglass Hut screwed everybody over and said, forget Meta's process, we're just gonna sell these things first come, first serve. Anyway, that's just to say, because of that, like one aspect that I was not confident in the demo, I was afraid that I might not have the right size band. And the guy there, I was kind of just getting rushed out. So you definitely have to do the demo, get the right size band so it can show you where you're supposed to put it on your wrist, and you're not basically kind of just walking around with something that might not work. So the ghost gestures, like what I was saying, they were happening when I'm on the mouse or something like that, like on my computer or when I'm playing a game. But they also weirdly didn't register when I just had my hand like on the handlebars like this, horizontally. It's getting better. I'm kind of getting used to it. And the person I was talking to at Meta basically said it is going to take a minute to get used to, and then something about the algorithms that they might be using will update to the way you use it. I don't know if that's specifically what he meant, or if they're basically taking data and like improving it, just kind of like how Tesla takes a lot of data from their cars and then makes a better algorithm for like their self-driving stuff. Maybe that works, but you know, that's kind of the top 5 things I don't like. So we're just gonna run through that again. Like AI, not as advanced as I expect. Sliding down my nose a little bit. AI doesn't remember context as well, which is to me different from like being advanced. Ghost gestures happening, and then the disconnects from the band. So those are kind of like the 5 things that are, it could be better. So then these are kind of the 5 things I do wish for, right? Better AI memory and capabilities with this new dev kit that's supposed to be coming out, and I'm really excited to play with that because I used to do stuff with Meta with Spark AR, which was a program that lets you make Instagram filters, and as time went on, the filters became way more advanced, and like the capabilities that you could build within that type of program, Spark AR, was really cool. Like it was some next level stuff, so I know like Meta has it in their pocket, and they'll make something cool with the dev kit. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to unlock like a big aspect of these glasses that a lot of people probably aren't expecting, or, you know, or they're just hoping for something different, some like different experiences. I do like the experiences that are currently on like the glasses. Like there's maps, there's like a little game you can play to get used to your thumb moving around. For me, those types of things are really cool. And it's really simple. Like I don't need my glasses to do like everything. The subtitles are really cool. I thought that's awesome. I live like in a more Spanish type of neighborhood in Brooklyn. And it's cool going to the bodega, being able to like have the subtitles pop up so I can kind of more understand the way that the pacing of a language is happening, because sometimes I just don't like hear the separation of the words when some people talk, and it might be like the accents. Specifically like regional accents and how people might pronounce their certain words in certain regions. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool feature. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, but I would love to continue building on that. So I guess the second thing as well is like longer recording time with the display. I currently have the recording set to 3 minutes, but I don't know if it's because of the display being on, but it only records 1 minute. And I really haven't tried it to do 3 minutes. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm gonna see if I can make it do a 3-minute recording. And, oh, of course, they just died. So, anyway, and I do wish the camera, the bitrate, when you upload to something, it's stays the same. I don't know, the bit rate compresses, like the compression that happens when you upload something, it like exasperates it more with these for some reason. So I'm hoping there's maybe some kind of functionality or like some magic, hey, first class pipeline or something that you can use when when you're uploading stuff to like Threads or Instagram, blah blah blah. And then more hand gestures. Right now, basically to like select, you do this with your with your index finger and your thumb. To go back, you like use your middle finger and your thumb, and to like open the display and close the display, you double tap. I wish I could, oh, and then the last thing, you kind of double tap and hold to open Meta AI, like Hey Meta, without having to say Hey Meta. And they suddenly, they literally, when I said that, they literally came on after I tried to press the button, and it just told me 5%. So, you know, there's some bugs and kinks that need to be worked out, but I still love them. So yeah, more hand gestures, just more ways for me to play with like everything. And like, imagine if I could like do this, and then like the camera, this is the camera for photos, and then I could press this one to do videos without having to do an entire line of communication basically with the glasses. So that's kind of that. And then the final thing, just more AI features. So just for context, the way that I use the AI, specifically the way that I want to use the AI right now, what I do at work, I'm a generative AI designer for like a apparel company. And I like to sometimes take pictures of things that we might have like as inspiration on the wall, and then put those things in a custom chat GPT, like kind of basically chat interface that I have that kind of knows what I want already. And it can basically read that image and do that. And I did try that in a written form with Meta AI through the Meta AI app, and it works. But I don't know, the Meta AI app, AI is way better than the glasses AI, and that might just be me. I might be wrong. I hope somebody at Meta can like clarify if there's just because of capabilities, a diluted version. But for me, it's almost kind of like I would rather the AI from the glasses just be a microphone for the AI in the phone, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's how it's working. I'm just kind of guessing, but I'm just not getting the same type of capabilities out of it. So all that's to say, like, I just want there to be, I want like the effort to basically push these glasses as far as possible to be in the AI, and I want that to happen as fast as possible. Like, ideally, like that'd be the only focus, and then getting the AI like super pristine, like super like clutch, just depending on it, and it working whenever you need it. That would make these glasses, for me, if I had to rank these out of like 100 points, 0 out of 100, I would right now give them an 85. And to me, 85 is good. I was the type of kid, I'm like, I just want to pass. And 85 to me is great. The way to get even a 5% is just like more reliability with the band. And then to push that up to like 10% more is the AI for me. Everything else is like background, and just like, I hope it comes when it does. But you know, those are kind of the things that I really, first of all, like, the things that I kind of don't like, and the things I hope for. And I totally, if you're like the type of person that loves tech, like these are not the Apple Vision Pro at all. Like, these are not the Apple Vision Pro at all. Do not expect some crazy VR experience, some augmented reality, mixed reality experience. Like, do not expect that with these glasses. These are more an assistive device, which they should be, you know what I mean? Like, it's really what you would expect from the future of like a Tony Stark glass, where it can just give you information, pop your maps up, your text, everything like that. So totally recommend these, Meta. You crushed it, honestly. You know, there's a lot of glasses that are probably coming up in the future. Definitely interested to see what Gemini does, with what Google does with Gemini, and definitely interested to see what Apple's gonna do, because that's probably gonna be crazy. You know, unfortunately, all of those things could be locked in their own ecosystem, but it is what it is. Like, these companies are competing, and maybe I can just get some more styles of glasses. You know, the thing that Meta has for them right now is they work with Ray-Ban, and you've already built that cachet of like taste and like level with like Ray-Bans. So I can't wait to see what they do in the future, and I can't wait to get my Oakley Meta Vanguards. Those are gonna be sick, and I'll definitely do a review of those. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for listening.